Staying locked to the street 919 FM. If you woke up late this morning and you're now joining us, yes, this is Dominic that you're hearing. Sharon and Bruce are off this morning. They have some personal issues to deal with, but Bruce should be back tomorrow morning and should be joining me as well. So yes, I'll be back tomorrow morning as well. So just remember, if it is that you're stuck in some traffic, Form 1s and Form 3s, I think are back out today. Some students are seeing their school for the first time. Well, seeing the inside of classrooms in their schools for the first time. Those persons who would have done SCA perhaps last year and year before, with schools being closed for almost 2 years. So today's young ones who are heading back out, we hope that you have a good day. That as you seek to settle down and adjust into this, new normal, if you want to call it that. So yeah, the school traffic is back on, folks. Sigh. That's why I don't leave my house early. Hello, good morning.
Hey, morning, boy, Dominic again, man.
Morning, sir.
Yeah. Dominic, I want to carry you back to the by-election in Arima.
Yes.
With the doctor, she was a dentist.
Yes.
And a PNM stronghold in Arima with PNM in government. The people found that the PNM were wanting, and they voted for the UNC, a short truck driver, a taxi driver. Not in any way demeaning what the guy is doing. But that is what goes on in PNM constituencies. So if people think that we're making statements, what he was trying to show the brother, the clown, right, is that the PNM and the Afro constituency vote changes. But in UNC constituencies and their base votes don't ever change regardless of the circumstance. Remember that election just the other day, Dominic?
I do.
And PNN lost, and they was holding on to that seat by-election. So foregone conclusion, don't be nice. I heard the people on TV, we not to worry about here, there's UNC, and we don't know what we're doing. Simple. So Central, they could turn it, they could dice it, they could chunk it, they could do what they want. That is the reality. Nobody in teeth in my head again. Right? The reality is, all them could talk about is Lavantil and Mover. That have a historical antecedent state. You know that, right, Dominic? And if you ask people from that era, in 86, when PNM get clean out, if the election campaign had last 2 more weeks, Lavantil would have moved. Ask any foundation member in the PNM that, right? And Mr. Manning lose the seat. Well, A.N.R. Robinson found the way, A.N.R. went Pandey, and Mr. Pandey and Humphrey said it with his own mouth. They went to Mr. Robinson and said, hey, we want to clean out the PNM, we want the jocular. We come for the jocular in San Fernando East. We don't want no mercy for them. We hate them. 30 years they rule for. Mr. Robinson say, hey, hold on. We need an opposition. But if they had it a recount there, they would have had no Mr. Manning. He would have lost. Right? So people are understanding historical and descendants of election in Trinidad and Tobago. And going back to Professor Wash, them fellas don't wash their foot and jump in the dance, you know. And I tell you, so the call radio, going back to the radio. Since Morgan Jones was on 106 with Ken Gordon, when Ken Gordon faced them there, Dominic. That is how far I go back and watch the descendants of the capacity of Morgan Jones. And this fellow professor is a mental illness. They stick on a regurgitation. And they believe in broken things, and they believe, and anytime you challenge them, they start to get personal, they start to call people names. But it's really mental illness. And if you listen to the psychologists and them on the programs and them, they talk about mental illness have reared its head. You know, nothing to laugh about that reared its head in this part, Dominic. So when you hear the fella behaving like that and carrying on like that consistently, is that I talk a lot, Dominic, but I listen plenty, you know. I hearing some mental illness because I have a friend that's going through that with a sister. So that probably is stepping in. So you had to forgive the brother. You understand? And he must just hurt. You know, some people take us out, Dr. Rowley block him. So he have a banker, Dr. Rowley block him, And he just like he can't get over that disappointment because everybody deal with disappointment differently. So that's why he getting on that way. Dr. Rowley blocked him because Dr. Rowley said he blocking this one, I'm blocking that one. So he get blocked and he can't deal with that. He ego get bruised. And in his mind, he lost $1 million by getting blocked from Dr. Rowley. And Dr. Rowley's broke bread to he, so he can't breathe. So he hurts it. But I want to tell people, PNM, when PNM is ready to be voted out, the PNM people always vote them out. That's the reality on the corridor. It's happening in Maruga Tableland. Because PNM put Gypsy there and people see it as a game, they voted against the PNM. And they're talking about transformational leader. Dr. Rowley take the PNM from 12 seats in opposition. He reformed the party from one man, one vote, from delegate system to one man, one vote. Dominic, he also took, and he said optionary to the validate time. So all who talking about transformational leader, Dominic boy, as I say, we have to pray for Professor, and we have to go a little easy on him. Mental illness is real, and sometimes people deal with disappointment in that way. So when he carrying on over and over, we go pray for him. I go into church this week, so I go pray for him. These fellas don't know how to deal with disappointment. That's our book sense. Thanks, Dominic.
Thank you, sir. I couldn't agree with you more because I know for a fact, and this is for Central too, that one of the reasons why you all were able to secure that seat in Arima is because PNM people, to some extent, were not pleased with the choice of candidate. You know, I was told by some people that they felt that, you know, perhaps she was aloof. She didn't really resonate with the people. And, and so that's what happens. So if you think you all won that because of anything great that the UNC has done nothing between 2015 to 2022 to restore confidence in them and their ability to lead this country, and that you all are depending on the only thing that the UNC could depend on to win election in 2025 is the satisfaction with the PNM. But there's not, if you all do win in 2025, it has nothing to do with people believe that you all could govern better. It's just because they vex with the PNM and that's about it. So that is nothing to crow about, Central. What have you all done? Really? Hello, good morning.
Hi, morning, Dominic.
Morning, sir.
Morning, Sharon and Bruce, wherever you all are. Dominic.
Yes, sir.
I had a chance for 2 weekends straight, to pass through Faizabad, Separia, Penal, DB. I went to know this thing, but they mostly based in Separia where I went to. The day up there and had to come back down the road. You know the landmark in Faizabad? Right. The landmark in Faizabad, and for people who know the landmark in Faizabad, when you read Faizabad, you want to know in Faizabad, you'll always see Butler and OWTU headquarters.
Yes.
All right. It's now a big supermarket there, and the big supermarket sign is blocking off most of the actually figures and things that you would know in the landmark. You know, so you know you're going in the right direction wherever you're going.
Right.
Now there's a squatting village in Separia where the oak, not oak, I think it is the cedar or tree fields. So that fields with plenty of things. But that's like I think that was a squat. That is a squatting area. But I remember that the UNC have given them a certificate of comfort, deed of comfort or something like that. Right. So the villagers got that and was happy for it. But there's a new 1% in South. And the 1% now has acres upon acres of land and is doing some work there. So when you go there, and them just big tractors, the day tractors, and them working on Saturday, working whole day, Sunday, they're working and they just clearing down acres and acres of the thick field, right? The thick. Clearing down the thick field. That 1% get that. Right? But the UNC and them just want to talk. I would like to find out, or I'd like to get to the bottom of how that new 1% in South was able to get all these things, if it was done the correct way, you know how we think, because to give that whole heap of land to one man in a squatting area, when we have so much of poor people that need somewhere to live and those things. But one man get acres and acres of land, and he's going to develop. Because I sat down in the area and everybody told me what was going on. And I see for myself. And I asked them about 13 times who is the person behind that, who's the owner, who's now owning it and tracking down that. And they keep repeating things and ask them several people, so I know what I'm talking about. And if you understand how the UNC operates, you get doubt. Hence the reason why I would like the government to go through and see how much they could put in to follow the money. Because if the UNC has a record central, them like to call you and tell you that who thief, Faris Harari thief because of the Porsche, this one thief, and Fitzgerald thief, Rowley thief, Imber thief, right? Mm-hmm. They have all of that. Even the political leader on a Monday night forum, she bring up allegations of theft against certain ministers. But when you do your job to sit down and debate bills put forward to go after Rowley and Harari and all of them, you understand? You frustrating it, and you recently talk about constitutional rights in a matter that I was lost. Where is this constitutional rights that you're talking about? You're not supporting anything. Once you're talking about follow the money, you ain't supporting that totally. You're doing everything to frustrate it. But you're standing up on the outside as the official opposition of Trinidad and Tobago to tell us that we have ministers who's stealing. You can't give us one shred of evidence. And when you put forward any sort of evidence, it has been, you make it up. You make it up and put it out there. And we know who you are. We have experienced you in the past. Eric Williams and Franklin Khan took a bribe, you said, Ms. Kamala Prasad, etc. And when the truth came out, you distanced yourself from the allegation. But you're the one who raised it. Did you do any background check to find out if it was truth? Or this was organized? Because based on what I was hearing coming out of that, the person said he was put up to do it. And when he tried to wiggle himself out there, you all forced him into doing it. But there's no law against that, and you are the official opposition. You're supposed to raise the issues, but not lie on it. You all told us that Rowley and them sold oil to his partner in Venezuela, or gas to his partner in Venezuela. But when you do check between the lines and realize what is what's going on, you all manufacture that. You put misinformation out there and sell it to Reuters for them to print it. But Reuters was very careful of what they was printing. They print like Trinidad and Tobago sold oil to gas thing there. But when you follow up to find out what it is actually thing, it went to another island and they was responsible for that. And on top of that, when you all in government was dealing with the same person doing the purchasing from Trinidad and Tobago. So why you all doing that? Because you all know better. You all not the UNC is just totally about themselves, greed, and race and religion. Go south and see what's going on in south. See how this little giant is growing. If you see supermarkets all over south, by the time you drive here, you go around the corner, you have a supermarket. You go about half a mile up the road, another supermarket. You go so a supermarket, go here a supermarket. You go so everywhere turn is a supermarket. You have more supermarket in south than Hilo have in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, I mean, I exaggerated on that. Let me put it, I exaggerated on that. But what I'm saying is that this guy is growing very quickly. And I'm wondering that there's a lot of money out there to be laundered. I just wondering, I'm not saying anything, and I know of anything like that, but I'm just wondering. And hence the reason the importance of the Revenue Authority. We need the Revenue Authority and the other apparatus to put in place so we can bring down Rowley and Imbert and them first, and then we'll go after them. But no, they want laws like that there, but it mustn't interfere with them. They must be out of it. So when you put a law there, it must always have a loophole. And the reason why we have the British Queen's Council, he had to do what he had was to do, because at the end of the day, he lives in England, and that is serious consequences. And he was preferred to be tried in Trinidad and not to be tried in England because he'd end up worse. I mean, you see what's going on. What about the partners and them? What about the U.S. businessmen and them? 20 years after, the ones in Trinidad, them living free, they getting contracts here still, but under the children name. But as the lawyers, you can't discriminate against the children and them. They have their business and they have nothing to do with them. But we don't know exactly what is going on. And they are still being supported by the UNC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, we lost that one. First day back out to school. Okay. So it seems the police is conducting roadblocks this morning and parents are not pleased who are taking their children to school. Hello, good morning.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Dominic.
And a happy new year to you, sir.
And all the blessings.
Same to you.
Glad to hear you on a real man.
Yes.
Morning, Mr. Bruce. Merry Christmas. Mr. Sharon, Merry Christmas. And morning to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. I can't waste time because I many times take up for the morning. Mr. Dominic?
Yes, sir.
I listened to you all yesterday. I tried to get in, but you know how the life is.
Yes.
Yeah? But I hear you use a word yesterday where the Prime Minister mandate the Attorney General to tell the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago what's happening.
Correct.
Nice. Mr. Dominic, my problem in Trinidad and Tobago, as I'm telling you here, because as I've been saying since 2010 to 2015, the citizens hire a bunch of criminals in Trinidad and Tobago, which create treason among the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. You Mr. Dominic?
Yes.
And my problem is with the media at Trinidad and Tobago. And my problem is with the judges and the magistrate at Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Dominic. Yeah.
Yes.
This is the reason why Trinidad and Tobago can't go anywhere, Mr. Dominic. Yeah? Because of the magistrate and the judges and the liars, I don't call them lawyers, liars in Trinidad and Tobago. Too much wrong, Mr. Dominic, been going on in high society in Trinidad and Tobago. And as the man say, it's only the poor man that feel it, Mr. Dominic.
Yes.
So where I want, and I asked him, the Prime Minister, because, I mean, Trinidad and Tobago can be worse. And if we had to deal with these people, Mr. Dominic, we need outside people, because I'm not trusting the judges, the magistrates in Trinidad and Tobago concerning these people when the time comes, Mr. Dominic. I'm talking my mind, Mr. Dominic, because too much wrong been going on in Trinidad and Tobago for too many years, Mr. Dominic. That is why they didn't want the Federation at Trinidad and Tobago, because if we had the Federation at Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean, Mr. Dominic, half of these fellas would have been in prison already. Yeah, Mr. Dominic?
Yes.
So I asked the Prime Minister, when you start to deal with these things, even though it had cost the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, bringing foreign people to deal with these matters concerning Trinidad and Tobago, because the people we have here, Mr. Dominic, we will be going wrong as a merry-go-round all the time. When you bring these people to face judgment in Trinidad and Tobago concerning the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Dominic?
Yes.
So this is my problem when this thing kick off, because it's been too long. It's 5 years, going in 6 years and change. We've been waiting. Because I vote for that, Mr. Dominic. I vote to make sure that these people in, and that is what they're naturally doing, laughing at the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Dominic. These is what these
All right, what went on there? You had to call me back, sir. I didn't know what happened there. Let's see who we have here. Hello, good morning.
Hi, morning, Dominic. Morning,
Hey,
Bruce.
sir, how you going? Long time no hear.
Good. Boy, I'm listening. Trust me, I'm listening, but sometimes I just can't call it.
Yes.
You know, the other morning you had it real going, and you just have to listen.
Yes.
But, you know, the guy from St. James touched on an important factor concerning, you know, so it's not so much convolution or convoluted, but the whole question of the PNM
Yes.
and how difficult it is. Even Mr. Manning made the point that Trinidad and Tobago is very difficult to run. And Dr. Rowley knows that for a fact, that no matter what he does, he's hated, he's disrespected. Dr. Rowley, 70 years. What can... Dominic, you know about the aptitudinal measure for people who would enter a particular course of study. And you have to be at that level to understand.
Yes.
Now, you telling me in this country, a man come out from so long to tell people, listen, you have to understand where you are and pick up all the things out the government is giving to give yourself a sort of a niche out there to make your living. So you're going to a constituency, and I'm telling people of African descent, it's not always that the PNM can reach out to you to give you something to keep you going. And come to President, they have it perfect, you know. They made a study to that same Cambridge Analytica. At Cambridge Analytica to study African people, to know how we gullible. Even in the parliament, the UNC was able to use educated, so to speak, African people or inform African people to tell Dr. Rowley he's at this, he's at that, and the other. And I keep telling people, where are those people today? Any African person under the UNC, where they would have represented or be a minister, you don't hear about Errol McLeod. You don't hear about Jack Warner, so you don't hear about the one in Tobago. You don't hear about them. I don't know why, but you know what? The spirit of what you do and what you enter, if you're not careful with the people who don't care, that will be the conclusion of you. That will be the end result of you. African people have to understand that out there, you don't have to really take it to every single thing to benchmark the PNM against a whole notion that if I don't get, I will vote the other side. And that's what we do. That's what we do, especially at the lower end. I made the point, Dominic. Now, you tell me when is the break, eh?
Yes.
I made the point when you vote in the PNM, when the PNM is voted in a constituency where mostly African people are present, Dr. Rowley may have to get a work for everybody, you know. And if he doesn't get it, they go to the UNC, you know. That's the problem, you know. Come, Professor, I could be proud where the culture of African people is that I am proud to have an Indian leader. In Trinidad, people of African descent mostly disrespect Dr. Rowley, you know, and support, even on Facebook, people of East Indian descent, no culture, no heritage on the whole question of a black man, you know. And when that black man stands on a podium with disgust, you all want him to be acceptance, in a way, of our behavior. That will not happen. He would prefer lose than to compromise his wholeness on the understanding of African people. By now, who's supposed to know that, hey, there is some degree of change, leadership outside of the government to take care of ourselves, to represent better in this country. Boy, listen, it's so much to say, but I listen here, and St. James made the point clear. So I'll leave other people to call, but I want to warn African people, have a little pride, and don't stop settling for the $2 syndrome. It will send you nowhere, but cannot get in contact with other people like how these other people like under the UNC. We can't even hear from them. All right?
True.
So take care. All the best. Enjoy.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good morning.
Mr. Good morning to you, Bruce. Sorry to you, Dominic.
Kingsley, morning.
Yes, right. And that's what it has. Excuse me. Get some fun on the other side. Yes, I was trying to call the program because certain concern and certain issues on board I didn't speak about, but I see that if your friend watch it, they know you was on this morning. I sure see that he would have been on board. He had to call you this morning. Dominic, I am very concerned today about two things. And it is about the AG, and also it's about how crime is out of control in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask myself, if we are coming like Haiti or Jamaica, because after seeing 2 incidents on social media, and I'm concerned about it, I see one man of a cutlass walking a store, well, a food outlet, KFC, in St. James. And I do not know, because it was like a minute video, I did not know if he robbed anybody. And the security guard, but like the security guard didn't have no firearm on him. Walking St. James KFC with a cutlass. And I see there was a wrangle. He went outside the KFC, and that was it. And over the weekend, I saw a man walking with a hammer and knock in San Fernando, knock a glass with he and some other men. Unfortunately, someone lost their life in that incident. And I am deeply concerned about the crime and the killing out of control in this country. And I am asking myself, what we as a society are doing about it. What we as a people are doing about it. This country just 1.4 million people. And we is a rich country. This country have money to take us for the next 100 years. We have money to burn. That is why all politicians want to go in here, because you are hearing that UNC saying that we have no money. But if we have no money, why you want to go in and the governance to what? Run what country? If you have no money and the country has no money, why you want to go in government? So that is the next topic to talk about, because who have ears to hear will understand what I'm saying. So it's this country rich of sand, gravel, pitch lake, cement. The Caribbean buy cement from me. The world buy pitch lake from me. We have gravel. We have oil. We have everything in this country that the world have out there. And but what is the reason why we are having every year 3-something murders, 4-something murders, 2-something robberies, breaking, 2-something breaking? I am saying this: all hands must be on deck to fight crime. It cannot be one person. It cannot be one group. But all hands must be on deck, because we might think able to stop crime and stop killing, but we could carry down the numbers, because a car tell a man in the morning, if a man to wake up in the morning and do what he have to do, he do not know what you in his mind, and if he's a mentally sick person or something wrong with him, and he to walk in a store and thief or kill anybody, they cannot do it. But we could. It has so much necessary killings and robberies. Thieves are going around in this country, and we as a people go say, Kingsley, why not pulling the government? As I said, we as a people, the government also in it. Yes, the government have the part to play, but we as a society, as a people, also have to play our part in crime, because crime have no color, crime have no party card, crime have no look, crime have no face, crime have no government in power, no government power. It don't have that. But that some people they still into that. So Dominic, as I close, remember this: the UNC leave Kingsley. Kingsley never leave the UNC, and Kingsley never joined the PNM, so Kingsley could talk. I am saying this: if the AG is
under investigation by the police. If it was just an allegation, I could have allowed it. But he is under investigation. We will say yes, the other side too, but we as a people, and I would pay them to the highest standard from ever since of that under Manning, the uncle of the nation, right? I call him so forever until I die. I did hold pay them at the highest standard in that kind of level of because we have a law, you're innocent, till proven guilty. But a minister where the police confirm is because, yes, I hear the Prime Minister say Dr. Lee, David Lee, and Moody Land on the investigation. That also have to deal with. But as a sitting minister, I am very concerned about that. And I would like more clarity on the AG to come forward, because I cannot support it at this time. At this time, I cannot support it at this time. But what I can support, that the AG is under investigation by the police. And as a sitting minister, I want to join in known PNM Rhoda Barrett and tell the AG, I am not a sycophant. Tell the AG, do the right thing. Make sure that PNM have a good record. Because if it was cheating in the last 2 to 3 years, it's only the AG name Kamala could call on the platform by the billions and the family. Because it's only the AG, the opposition, and them have to point fingers at this time. At his name, as I said on IWER's program, his name in too much pasa. Them say dating with Mr. Gopi Spoon and what. He named took with the Police Service Commission where Guy Griffin got next term and Bacchanal. You know what I mean? So I am asking the AG. I know the Prime Minister is thinking very hard. He do not want to make that step. But the AG could do the honorable thing for himself. And the people will support you. You will get the people support by making a big move and showing the people that they're not hungry for. So Dominic, that my concern, that my two concern. As I said, as I leave, the UNC leave me. I never leave the UNC, and I'm joining the PM, so I could talk independent. I speak as an independent person this morning, not as a UNC or as a PM, but as a citizen of Trinidad. Dominic, I thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dominic. Hello?
Yes, caller, go ahead.
Hello? Yes, good morning. So I want to disagree with the caller, which is Kingsley, concerning having the AG resign or step aside, because I remember 2 PNM ministers did that. And what came out of it? We had an Attorney General importing 2 vehicles into this country. 2 chassis number. I don't even know what the number is right now, what the real number for the vehicle was, or is at the present time. I have not seen it on the news. And so we'll let the police do their investigation and, let us see what is happening. I agree that all citizens should be on board with crime, because I'm wondering, Dominic, if the guns that was given to the citizens through the police service were not used in crime, where are those guns coming from? Then somebody has to import it. Okay? And it's time to say to your brother, your uncle, your sister, or whoever is doing the crime, time to stop. You would not accept the thing that they bring home without their laboring for it. Okay? We have to take control of our country and the people around us too. We have to know who are the people around us. Are they thieves? Are they disruptive citizens? Are they doing right? Right? We could only make a good country by building on country. by working hard and studying, right? So, it's okay to say to call on this minister and that minister. And everybody wants an investigation. If you have so much proof of everything, why don't you show it? Show it up. I'm not saying that people don't do wrong things, but everybody wants the PNM people to resign and say, yes, it's okay. No, I'm not saying that they should, right? Prove themselves. I'm not saying that they should do wrong things, because a lot of people are doing wrong things and there's no perfect person here, and I'm not saying PNM have perfect people and they're not in legal thing. I don't know, and I'm not accusing them. Okay? But so I don't agree with that. I'm just saying that citizens, take care of your people. Those people in Beetham and Laventel and Mobile who are crying out for help, you get out there and help them. Right? Dominic, before I close, I want to tell this person who named Wall Street, he should check Google Jonah Lawson, this young man. Now, there are other people that he can think to, like Caleb Anderson or whatever, but I'm just talking about Jonah Lawson, because he has a history, right, of being abandoned by his parents. I can't remember what country in Africa, right? And this is a very intelligent man. And what he's doing too, from the place that first had him as a home, that the home that adopted him, right, through his parents there, he's a beautiful young man, first in his way he speaks, right? And Wall Street should Google this man. He don't go on the radio and complain, or go on the television and complain. He do something with his life and for the people who help him. Take care, parents, leaders, everybody. Take care of this country. Take care.
Dominic, good morning. Mr. Dominic, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Happy day to you, boy. Dominic, I was listening to a contribution just now there for a gentleman who talking about he want the AG to clear his name. You remember a time the same man that sell his vehicle to one of them drug dealers?
Dole Chedi.
To Dole Chedi.
Yes.
I mean, when these fellas, look, the AV drilling right there, a presentation right in front of the fella. But you want to call somebody name and you don't have any information on it. Or when they're throwing it up in the air to see if it could stick. Look, Anil Roberts' issue. Deliberately went to Parliament and tried to mash up the case.
Yes.
Look at clause 34. That is a shining example of Trinidadians shouldn't talk about them people at all. You had the oil issue in Venezuela where they're telling America to sanction me for selling oil to Aruba and all kind of things to Venezuela.
Yes.
And these people still say no, and they want AG to claim him. And I supporting AG. I supporting him. Because these people only throw things up in the air to let mess stick on the wall to see how much could hold. And you see an issue about up just now about that land issue in South with the individual.
Yes.
A gentleman brought it up who bulldozing land. I want the government to have a special day or a special group of people to deal with land issues, just as how they deal in Tobago, in Trinidad here, because it have people here. I included in it and all. Have land issues that linger in there. And listen, the real owner have all the documents, you could go from here to the Privy Council, and they're still lingering. And I would like the government to do something about land issue in Trinidad and Tobago, just how you're dealing with, they're looking at the postal bulldozing all the land down in Central. Remember what they're doing in Shagaramas here too?
Yes.
Right. I want government to take a special interest in that one, because I involved in it and I want it to be solved, which is number one. And I, Kenneth Lacret, talking about it wholeheartedly this morning. Talking about it wholeheartedly this morning, because people mustn't throw name up just for nonsense to stick on them. It's not right at all.
Correct.
Dominic, you have a nice day. And Dominic, you know something? You see this school, this the opening of school, you hear this issue with the maxi taxis and picking up children. Who really give these people that contract? I am very concerned about it. Because the amount of millions you have to be paying contractors for us to drive maxi to pick up children here and there, and then you don't have no money to pay them, and this and that and the other.
Yeah.
I want that to be investigated. Let parents see about the children, man. Don't tell me about government have to send maxi and pay them fellas when they pick up over there and pick up, you know where they're going and what they're doing, and then paying them millions when the end of the year come. Nah, that ain't good enough for me either. That has to be investigated. Have a nice morning and have a nice day. Reach home safe, Dominic.
Thank you.
Good boy.
Yes, sir. St. James.
Yes, Dominic.
Yes,
Dominic,
boss.
I wasn't going to call back. I just want to respond to the king at talk. Your boy Kingsley. Kingsley, you know, show me that you're still wet behind the ears. You're still green in the business. I carry you back to 106 when I give you all a historical carry back to 106 30 years ago in Morgan Joe was calling all the people in Lavantil pigs and swine. Rhoda Barrett and Rhoda Barrett, she's an academic, she's bright, but she's still wet behind the ears. Kingsley, you will know that by being around the opposition leader. There's some call the opposite, the UNC perfected the art of flinging mud. Kingsley, if every time a police investigating you has nothing to do with guilt, when charges are laid, that is when substantive information is given to charge. When substantive evidence, right, is given, that is when it's substantive evidence to charge. And that is when you remove yourself away from what you are doing in the presumptions of innocence or guilt. But anybody could make allegations. But Kingsley, and you was part of the flinging mud with Farris and the buildings and all of that, and when all the truth come out, the UNC was paying the man money and nobody was in it. So Kingsley, the king at talk, I hear you. If I make an allegation about you, king at talk, that means that you should stop living in your house because I make an allegation and the police investigating it. If every minister or every public official allegation is made about them and police is investigating, that's the police job to investigate. When evidence is given and they are charged, then that is when you do the honorable thing. Right? That's what Rhoda Barrett is telling you because she's still wet behind the ears. She's bright, she's enthusiastic, but it's still wet behind the ears. Right? So if every time our police was investigating with some, I think Dr. Ollie's on an investigation for farm, for all kind of nonsense, Dr. Ollie's that is on an investigation with the police for, and other people. So what are you supposed to do? Give up your prime ministership? No, you don't understand. That has to do with no sycophants or no thing. The reality is, if every time the police investigated somebody, they should give up. That does not make any sense. It happened. There was allegation against from Dansan Dansuk, the Eric Williams and Frankie Clan, and the whole thing was a lie. Kingsley, you have a way to tell me. I listen to you. This is what is actually all your coin the Dirty Tricks campaign. There's a committee in the UNC that concocts the Dirty Tricks campaign. Call us back and educate us what the Dirty Tricks campaign objective is. And that is what it is, Kingsley. But I hold no brief for Farris. If police find substantive evidence and he's charged, Dr. Rowley will remove him just like what he did with Marley McDonald. So until that, I will tell you what Afro Raymond told me. You are premature. Dominic, enjoy your day.
Thank you, sir. I think we have time for just one more. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Good morning,
sir.
Yes, I just want to say, I'm staying long, but I want you to study this. They were saying that the government not doing nothing with the borders. We have porous borders, and it opens to immigrants. Now, when the government doing something now, it's selling papers, they don't start already, like people being killed. But they didn't say that the immigrant vessel ran the Coast Guard. So that'll be our next big story for our whole month.
Yes.
And they'll put it in that kind of way, they'll say, well, we killed the baby. I want people to understand what the heights were going on here. And the media playing a dangerous game too. Because if the media to put this thing on paper and then give you the facts, they should tell you too which side they're on. And I'm going to tell you this, the Star Wars pushback. You see, Prime Minister has pushback too now. Everybody was in the corner. Even the unions and them. I want back
back with open eyes, we'll see what's taking place here. These people that was there for country. I think Mr. Mohammed does not talk about the situation with immigrants. Then I want to know what is the purpose. Whereas when everybody in this place now, except the Prime Minister, everybody was going, they were going to and say, well, the government wrong, and the government shouldn't do this. So everybody will have a vendetta to any Prime Minister, for a foot, and tell them it's so supposed to be done, and it can't be done like this. I just want to tell people, now, 2,000 immigrants say they said going back home. But some have you wrong, because people are coming back here. They're coming back right here.
Yes.
So I want to know what's taking place. They have too much of the people in this country. Too much people in this country. And look at the areas and these people and them are all living in many areas and this is stronghold. So I don't want to put you with a problem. But you can see how part of these people coming here too. Because they're hiding in the UNC stronghold areas. When you see election weeks now, they're campaigning with the same UNC people. So what it's promising them is like when the UNC come to power now, they come and become citizens. So that kind of way now, what they're doing now, they try to make it more popular to these people and them. So when the election come now, they give them citizenship now, so they go vote again, they go vote for the UNC and create a problem. That is why the problem starts with now, they always want the Tobago to be out now. Now they get what they want. Because the things like Duke and them, they never open their eyes, they get them money. So when they get the people of Tobago out now, they vote on paying them down. They never say, right, we have training or we have now. But what's going on is now that these people are coming from Venezuela and they're having them in their homes and in the areas. So if Kamala now get back to the power, what we do now, she can't come back to the power because Kamala's look like she can't stand how she going. And it's real for them. They'll have more of them in the country. If that kind of brain now, I'm trying to stop taking place here. But people are so passionate now, and how these people shut down the truth now, they don't believe it. That make have a nice day.
You too, sir. Thank you. Out of time, but not out of things to say, folks. It was a pleasure joining you this morning. God's willing, Bruce and I will be back tomorrow morning. Yeah, where we will have another edition of the show. And on Wednesday, Sharon should be back. Yeah, so enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully, it's a productive one. And yeah, that's it for me there. So I'm out tomorrow.